welcome to the podcast. How are you going? Okay, welcome back. I did record an episode for you the other day, but it's been accidentally deleted. I don't know how it happened because I even named it and everything, so I don't know. But anyway, we're here now. So I don't know where this episode is going to go because there's so much cool stuff that I want to tell you. There's so much cool stuff, but I think what we might do is, because I know there are some of you who sort of want to stick to the businessy stuff first, so we might just dive into the businessy stuff first, and then I can share with you a couple of interesting little breakthroughs that have happened, because you know me, I come away and I think it's the space and the spaciousness of being away and being separate from work that allows me to have these sort of aha moments that you can't have when you're kind of in it, right? So anyway, I want to talk to you about that. But the first thing that I'll do is talk with you to help you with your marketing. And this is going to be really, really useful because perhaps you don't know this, and it's going to help you make sense of maybe why you're feeling super busy but not actually getting results. So yeah, okay. So the thing that I want to talk to you about, maybe you've heard this term before. The marketing term is funnel. For us, I'm just going to call it pathway, right? We're going to call it client pathway. And basically this is how clients find you. And this is very important for you to understand, because I think it's going to take some of the stress and pressure off those of you who've got a website. And maybe you've had a website for a month or 2 or 3, and you're thinking, Brooklyn, you said if I had a website, I'd get clients. Hello, cough them up. I want to talk you through like the pathway so that you understand. Okay. So, it's like bite-sized mini training. If you're in Practice Momentum though, we've got a business mastermind on this on Thursday, so you will hear a lot more about it then, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. But let's just start. So imagine, if you will, a funnel, right? Like an actual funnel you might have in your cooking cupboard with all your sifter and your mixing bowl and stuff like that. Maybe you've got a little funnel there. So imagine your funnel, and right at the top, we're going to, from the top down, right down to the spouty bit, just divide that in equal sections of 4, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Right at the top, that's like the widest point. It's the mouth of the funnel, if you like. So starting there, the very first thing that we have is something that's called attract. It's called awareness. So this bit here, this really wide mouth of the funnel here, is all about awareness in terms of people who've never heard of you before hearing about you. And there are a few ways that we do that, right? So the website is one way. Your social media marketing is another way. Your blog posts are another way. Your LinkedIn, your YouTube, your podcast. So basically the things that you are putting out into the world in order to get onto the radar of someone who's never heard of you before. That is called attention or attraction, and that is where people start to find you. And when people see the website or the blog post or the thing that you've got, if they like it, they're going to stay for a little bit, and what will happen is they will move down to the next layer of the funnel, right? And that layer of the funnel is called interest. So interest simply means, okay, we've caught their attention, they're curious, they're like, she's got a nice website, or they're like, she's got a different way of working, I haven't heard that before, this sounds interesting. you've caught their interest, you've sparked some curiosity, all those kinds of things, right? All good. And then what happens is we build on that interest, and we do that through things like it's called a lead magnet in marketing speak, but you and I might call it a freebie, or some of you call it an opt-in. So it's the free resource that you've got on your website. The whole function of that is to build on somebody's already there interest. Okay? So they're already getting interested. We're just giving them something that's going to further develop that. So maybe they're interested in grief and loss counselling, and they go over to your website and you've got a special freebie there for them on grief and loss counselling. So yeah, they get that. And then let's imagine that they've loved the free thing. Now, the free thing could be a PDF, cheat sheet, worksheet, audio, whatever you like. But it's something that's there that's building interest. And do you know what? It still could be your social posts if they're building interest in terms of people keep coming back, like repeat buyers, right? They're not buying anything yet, obviously. I'm just giving you like an example here, but they keep returning to your Facebook business page, or they keep coming back to your website for, to see what's new. Has she put anything new up there yet? When we give somebody the free thing, for example, they then move into our world a little bit further because we've got their email address usually. So that email address allows us to deepen a connection with somebody who already is interested and who is already in the process of learning more and who wants to learn more. They've told us and shown us they want to learn more, they want to hear more. So now we're going to say, yeah, sure, you can hear a little bit more. And you're going to have a little series of emails that go out, right? So we've got the first level there, the mouth of the funnel, that's awareness and attention and attraction, right? All those people who come across you, find you, some of them are going to drop down to that next level, which is the level of interest, right? Of all those people who get your free thing, some of them are going to drop down to the third level, which is desire. Now, desire is the things that I guess make your business more desirable to them. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can work with desire. So one way is you can have depending on your niche and your industry and what you're doing and all those kinds of things, you might have testimonials or case studies or case vignettes or success stories or trust logos or Google My Business reviews, Psychology Today endorsements, right? All those kinds of things build desire in somebody who's already interested. So they've found you, the thing that they initially saw has resonated. They've then looked you up and they've found your website. They've grabbed a free thing. They loved that. They're now getting your emails. They're opening most of them and they're enjoying those. And now they're like getting closer and closer to actually booking that appointment. That initial appointment or that initial discovery call or inquiry call. And they're just looking for some kind of confirmation that you're trustworthy, you're legit, you're above board, you know what you're doing. So that's what makes it desirable, right? And then that needs to be met in order for them to go to the last level there. So of all the people that see all the stuff that makes your business desirable, some of them are going to move down to that last little level, which is action, right? I call it conversion. But basically it's where they're actually doing something now. So it could be that they're booking a discovery call or an inquiry call. It could be that they're enrolling in your program, or they're buying your digital product, or they're, buying your retreat. You get the idea. The thing that you're selling. So that's the process. So think about it from start to finish. How long do you think it takes for a person who's never heard of you to hear of you? Even if you've got a website and you're posting on your social every day, how long do you imagine it takes someone who's never heard of you to hear of you? And then how long do you think it might take for them to experience interest and want to develop that? And then how long is it going to take, do you think, for them to feel like you're legit and you're above board? So we're talking about trust here. How long do you think it's going to take someone who is new to you, new to your world, to feel like they can trust you with their vulnerabilities? Do you think that's going to happen quickly? Because I don't. I mean, especially if they're talking about like some serious stuff. That's not going to happen quickly. That's going to take time. So they're going to hover around or within each of these little levels for a while. That's going to be different for everybody, but they're going to be moving through as the trust develops. And then when it comes down to the very last little level there, that's usually dependent on you, because by this stage they're already they've already made the decision that they're going to work with you. Usually, I mean, you can mess it up, but if you know what you're doing, like if you're confident with, say, a discovery call or an inquiry call, then you're going to have a really good chance of converting them. Now, out in the real world, the data shows that 50% is the benchmark. That's what people should be aiming for in other industries. But get this, in our industry of health and wellness, the average conversion rate is anywhere between 70 and 80%, right? And do you know why it's so high? It's so high because before somebody reaches out to book that initial contact, that call or the session, they have to trust us. Very different to other industries. And that's why conversions tend to be so high. So yeah, this is the pathway. So if you have been working on your website and you're like, okay, Brooklyn, thanks, I fixed my website, but that was like 8 weeks ago or 12 weeks ago, where are the clients? I want you to understand that your website is brand new to the internet. It's brand new to the world, right? 8 weeks is nothing. 12 weeks is nothing. So give it time. And also, I guess, understand that my thing is you have to have a website that ticks certain criteria before you start doing any activities or tasks specific to those 4 levels. Because if you go and do those other things, right, you go and focus on those other levels, and people are curious and they're interested and they want to go and check you out, and they come over to a website and the website doesn't work, or it doesn't look good, or there's missing information, or maybe the website isn't legally compliant, it's just not showing up, right? It shows up for you because it's kind of like, in a way, similar to Instagram, how Instagram shadow bans people. That's where you can use Instagram and you can check your own feed, and your friends can check your feed for you. Other people who are used to your feed can go and check it and say, oh yes, it's all working fine. But you've been shadow banned, and shadow banned is when you think it's all working fine, but actually nobody else can see what you're doing. So Google does a similar thing. So, you and your partner might go and look at your website, and your mum and your sister and your sister-in-law, and they might all be checking on their phones and computers and going, yeah, it's fine, it's showing up, but actually, no, it's not. So there's no point sending potential clients over to your website considering, right, again, this is like You can go and check these numbers for yourself. But depending on which industry you're in, therapists, whether it's counselors, psychologists, social workers, in a calendar year, so in a 12-month period, January 1st to December 31st, will see a client either 10 times up to 20 times. And of course, there are exceptions around that depending on, the services that are being provided and the frequency and all that kind of jazz. But from the available data, that's what it says. So let's take the lowest of those and say it's 10. If you are charging $160 for a session and a potential client is interested, right? They've found you, they've started their journey through the funnel, on the pathway, the journey to getting started with you. They're right at the very beginning, at the very first step. They've found you, and now they're like, oh, who is she? I'm going to go and check her out. They come over to your website and boom, no, this is not for me. Like, I don't even know, like, what's going on here. Nothing's working, nothing's clicking, there's missing information, it doesn't look good, there's broken links, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? You've just lost $1,600 from having a broken website. Now, that's a lot of money that if you need clients, you can't afford to be losing. You've got to be setting yourself up to optimize for conversions. We want people to come over to the website, get all the information that they need, feel confident, feel like they can trust you, sit with it for a little while, and then when they're ready and they've made that decision, or when they know that they're almost ready and maybe they've still got some questions, they feel good and confident and secure about connecting with you, taking that next step, right? That's what we want to happen. Now imagine if you had 10 people who were very, very interested, right? They'd never heard of you before, saw some awesome post that you put on your Instagram, or I don't know, maybe you did some awesome reel and it got some attention, or, whatever. And people went over to your website. These 10 people went over to your website and all of them were like, oh no, this doesn't look very professional. This doesn't feel right. This isn't going to work for me. Well, then you've lost $16,000. Not great. So that's why I always say, we've got to make sure this website is like spick and spec. We've got to make sure that it is minimal, clean, nice to look at, professional, speaks language of the client, fully optimized. Clients should be able to book with you in 3 clicks, like boom, 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 easy, 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 simple, simple, simple. It's kind of like, I don't know if you know, you probably do. If you're in my world, you probably do, because we're probably very similar. But there's a famous Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was Vietnamese and very, very famous. And he was very much about peace and things like that. But anyway, he had lots and lots and lots of teachings. And one of his very famous stories was called, I'm going to get this wrong now, which is embarrassing because I've just said how famous it is. But I think it's called No Toothache, or No Tooth Pain, No Toothache. And basically the story is that when you have a really bad toothache, you know how you just want it to go away. You're just in so much pain. You want this pain to go away. So you got this really bad toothache and you get something for it, right? Maybe you're having cloves if you're into the natural stuff. Maybe you're having some cloves and some hard tea. Maybe you're, I don't know, having some Panadol. I don't know, something stronger. But the pain goes away. And how do you feel when the pain goes away? You feel relief, but you're also so thankful. There's an abundance of gratitude that pain isn't there anymore, right? There's tooth pain or toothache, and there's the absence of it. And I forget why I'm telling you this story. I was talking about, sorry, this happens a lot. I was talking about people coming over to the website and booking and stuff. I guess I'll come back to it. But anyway, we just want to make it like super duper easy for them to be able to book in. Because guess what? Instead of you losing $16,000, wouldn't it be better in your pocket? Yeah. So we have to start there. So while that's where we start, it's not where your clients start. And so you have to market to that. So when you're just focusing on, well, I've done my website, where are the clients? It's not enough. It's not enough. So what needs to happen, what would be enough, is to start looking at, well, what are some of the things that I could be doing to get this business of mine in front of people who've never heard of me before. And so that's why we do things on the website, just going back to that, like SEO, for example. It's why you put hashtags on your captions. So don't just like slap up any old hashtag. You've got to research it and do your keywords and stuff like that. So you also want to think about, well, how can I drive traffic over to my website? So if you have a website and it's not getting clients, I guess my question to you is, well, what are you doing to get this website in front of people? You don't have to do paid ads. You can if you want to. It's a quicker way to do it. I would only do it once you were confident that the website was going to optimize. It'd been optimized for conversions, I mean. But you can certainly do it organically. Think about, if I wasn't going to do paid ads, what could I do to get this website and this business of mine in front of more people without being on more things? That's a good prompt for you to use. I'm not saying you have to be on every single platform. You know how I feel about that. You've got to be on one platform, master that. Find the platform where your clients are, and then figure out, well, how am I going to show up more on that? How am I going to, and maybe it's not even showing up more. Sometimes, a lot of the time, it's about refining what you're doing. If what you're doing isn't working, have a look at why. Ask yourself why. So many times people will just go, oh yeah, I'm on Instagram, tick. Now I'll go on Facebook. Yep, I'm on Facebook too, tick. Now I'm going to start, blogging. Yep, doing that too, tick. And then I'll say to them, okay, you're getting inquiries from all of these? And I'll say, no, I'm not getting inquiries from any of them. I'm like, well, stop loading yourself up with stuff, because they'll say to me, what else do I need to be doing? It's not what else do you need to be doing, it's what could I be doing differently? Why isn't what I'm doing converting? And the only way to understand that is to look at your data, which is why in Momentum we track so much stuff, and it's so valuable and it's so helpful. And once you learn how to do it, it just simplifies your business. But anyway, so if you're not getting, in marketing we say leads, but here we might say potentially interested clients, inquiries, discovery calls, traffic over to the website, people coming and visiting the website, then you've got a problem with that very first layer of your funnel, which is awareness. And that means people just don't know you're there. And that's going to happen because you're maybe doing stuff that's just not working, and that's happened because you don't know how to do it in a way that would work, otherwise you'd be doing it. I know that is like totally obvious there. So you want to go and have a look at that. And yeah, the way that I would recommend is the way that feels lightest and least effort for you. So for me, I just like to put stuff in my stories. Really easy. If I put a new blog post up, I'll share the link to the blog post in my stories, and I'll put the link to my blog post on Facebook, and that'll drive people over to my website. And I want people to get onto my website because I know after they read the blog, they're probably going to click around on other things, and they might not book a call, or they might not straight away go and join Momentum, or things like that. But they might go, oh, I didn't know she had a podcast, and they might listen to that. Or they might say, oh, I didn't know that she actually can review people's websites. think I'll bookmark this for later. I'll go and fix up my website and then I'll get her to have a look at it, right? So sharing links, very, very important. You have to be constantly, daily, doing something that's going to get people aware of your business or of the service or the product or the course or the online. It's got to be daily. It's very, very active. And there are so many ways that you could do it. But usually it's at that first level there, it's a very broad marketing campaign, right? Compared to the next level down, which is now they've downloaded a specific freebie, which, by the way, if you've got a freebie and you're like, well, I've got a website and I've got a freebie, and, I say to you, okay, well, how many people download the freebie? None. Okay, what are you doing to get it out there? Like, what are you doing to let people know that you've got it? Nothing. Why not? Didn't know I had to. Okay, so you have to. And again, simple way, share it in the stories. If you're in any online community groups and they have days of the week where you can share a resource, share it there. If you want to share it in a Facebook community, I would say always, before you do that, double check the rules and, just send a nice message to admin saying, look, I have double checked the rules. It looks like I can, but is it okay? Here's what I want to share. Give it to them so they can see it. Most of the time they're going to say, yeah, that's fine. Really appreciate you checking. It's just you being in integrity. But share it as a resource for people, right? So little things like that. You've got to look at, well, if you didn't know that you needed to be letting people know that it's out there, you know that now. So start to think about ways that would feel comfortable for you, or would feel low effort for you, would feel easy, maybe even fun or enjoyable. Like, if it got to be fun to give this away and get it in front of people, like, what would it look like? You can do something like, you could put a post on your, yes, put it on your Facebook business page, but honestly, until you've got an audience, probably no one will ever see it. So if you're in any communities where you are allowed to do posts like that, you could whack a little post up. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just choose a colour background or something from the available options when you go to make your post, and just say, hey, I've got this, da-da-da-da-da. Don't say self-care journal or anxiety workbook, for goodness sake. Let people know that it's relevant, okay? Hey, I noticed that, there's so many mums in this group that are stressed with the school holidays coming up and things like that. And I just wanted to, I've got a resource that other mums I work with have found really helpful, and it's normally paid, but I'm happy to give it away. Who'd like a copy? Do that. And that way, if somebody wants a copy, you can give them a copy. Easy. Or, do you know what I mean? So you've got to get it out there. Very, very important. If you're getting traffic over to the website, but you've got a high bounce rate, that means people are coming over, but they're clicking out. They're not downloading the freebie. It's because there's a mismatch between what they're seeing off your website and what they're seeing on it. So if your website is all about holistic therapies and integrative therapies and things like that, but your Instagram reel was all about, I don't know, something unrelated to that. Maybe your Instagram reel was, I don't know, on a hot topic. And they're like, oh, who's she? I love her point of view on this. I'm going to go and check her out. And they come over to your website and they're like, oh, what's this? That has nothing to do with what I just saw. Like, am I even in the right place? Yeah. It means that we need to have a little bit of a realignment of your content. It's going to be that, or it's going to be the messaging. So something that you're putting out, let's just say social media, for example, because I know so many of you are using it. So let's say you're putting out some great social media, but then people are coming over to the website and it's just not resonating with them. Then it could be you've got a messaging problem. It could be that apart from a messaging problem, maybe it's just not a great user experience. Maybe there's missing information, all the things. So they're clicking off and they're not taking any action. So for you, it's about looking at, okay, well, on this day, I got a lot of traffic. If I go back to my Instagram or my TikTok on this day, what did I post that day? Okay, so this got people over. Now, how does this compare to what I've got on my homepage over here? Oh yeah, I can see they don't talk to each other. They're totally different topics. They're totally different fields. They're totally different whatever. Okay, I get it now. Well, if I want more people to come over and take action, what's my next step here? So that's what you would do. If you get people that are like, oh my gosh, I came over to her website because I saw this thing she put on her Instagram and it was awesome. And then, her website was really cool and she had a freebie. She got this download and, they've downloaded that, but they didn't book. Understand that at each level, it gets smaller. The audience gets smaller. So at the top, let's just call the top 100%. That very first layer might be 100%. And then, it just kind of goes down like that. And we know that it's usually between 2 and 3% that will actually do anything, right? So people filter out. It's not always you. It's just a numbers thing. People filter out. Not a problem. But if they get the freebie, that shows that they're like pretty keen. They get that freebie and they don't book. Very interesting. It's nothing to do with the website or your messaging, and it's nothing to do with how you've been promoting yourself. What's happened is they were expecting something from you and you didn't deliver, or the freebie didn't deliver. So was the freebie over-promising, under-delivering? Was there no email nurture sequence, right? Did you just kind of like throw a free thing at them and then run and hide? Or did you hang around and say, what do you think? Did you like that? Would you like some more? I've got these other things that you might be interested in that are also free, and that are kind of related. You could try this one over here, or you could try that one over there. So with my freebies, there's a little workflow, and usually the first one's kind of like, hey, it's me and here I am and I'm just making sure you got the thing, and in case you missed it, here it is again. And so I'm just checking in. Did you get the thing? Give them a reminder of who I am. And then the next few emails, it's going to be like, hey, how did you go with it? Let me know if there were any hiccups. Also, if you really loved it, let me know. And by the way, not sure where you're at on your journey, but I've also got these things over here. And I'll let them know the other things that I've got. I'm like, there's this podcast and it's called the Private Practice Podcast. It's got over 500 episodes. Haven't counted, but pretty sure there's not another private practice podcast that's got 500 episodes. So yeah, you're bound to get something from it. I've also got a website wellness check over here. So if you're not getting inquiries or clients and you are wondering if it's something to do with the website, I'm happy to have a look at it for you. It's $47. And then if you're feeling a little bit isolated, as so many of us are, a lot of us are women in private practice, then you might want to join my community and start to meet some other people and share your experiences on this shared journey together. And you can do that here. So I'm helping. Here, I hope you liked it. I've also got this, and this. And if you didn't like it, I'm so sorry. Tell me why, so I can point you in the direction of something that might give you a better solution, right? Because heaven knows I've got so many things, right? I'm bound to have something. So yeah, let me know and I'll get you this other thing, right? So it could be because you didn't have your email sequence set up. And some people will say, oh, I don't want to bombard people with all these emails and spam them with my emails. And, oh, I would hate it if that ever happened to me. And I get that. I totally get that. But I also know how it feels to get excited when somebody's emails come into my inbox, when it's somebody that I want to hear from. And I'm like so excited. I will look for the name, and as soon as I see it, I'm clicking on that email because I want to see what's inside. So you want to make your emails valuable. That's what value is. Value isn't money. You know, lots of times people think, oh, the value is the money. It's not. The value is whatever the value is to the person that's reading it, right? So yeah, there's that. And then if you're doing well with getting the first 3 layers, the awareness and attention, and then the interest, and then, you know, the desire, like they're coming along and they're seeing all the proof that you're legit and you know your stuff, that's all great. But then for some reason the conversions are low, then it means that you've got a conversion problem. So it means either it's hard for someone to book, or you're not confident with your calls, or you're not leading to bookings, or there's some imposter syndrome, or do you know what I mean? There's like something going on with the conversion. So that's what you would be looking at. So if you're not getting clients in your private practice, you can't blame it solely and wholly on the website unless all these other things are working. And the reality is that all those other things are never going to work unless the website is. So put the website, if the website's optimized and it's all good to go, leave it to one side and start working your way through those other levels. Ask yourself, am I getting enough people over to the website? Is there enough happening with the interest? What's happening with my freebie? And this is the other thing too. It's not just one freebie. You've got to have like a bunch. And the reason you need to have a bunch is so that you can see what's resonating and what's landing for your people. Because a lot of the time what you think is a really awesome freebie rarely gets downloaded, and the other things that you create do. And that's very helpful. It builds your audience. And this is the other thing. You can't just, if you get desperate for clients, right, you're like, well, I've opened my practice and I've got a website, and, you know, the website's apparently good, but it's still not converting. It's because, you know, as I just explained, we've got these levels. It takes somebody a long time to move through those, usually, because in our industry, there's trust, right? Trust takes time. And that's why consistency for us is so important. But you might get desperate and you're thinking, yikes, I'm open for business. I need the money. I've got the website. I'm posting on my social media. What else can I be doing? I've got Psychology Today set up. I've got Google My Business set up. It's still not happening. What else could I do? What else could I do? And you might think, oh, I'll sell something. Maybe I'll go and make a course, or I'll run a retreat, or I'll, you know, do an event, or I'll do, I don't know, I'll bundle something together and sell that. Here's the thing. It's going to be usually a waste of time because you're so new, you don't have an audience, and you need an audience so that you've got people to buy from you, right? If Taylor Swift did not have an audience, if nobody knew Taylor Swift and she was like, well, geez, I've been recording all of these albums over here and, you know, they're not moving. Nobody's buying them, blah, blah, blah. What's the point of her going and, I don't know, saying that she's going to run a retreat? Like, she doesn't have anybody to buy the tickets because nobody knows that she exists. You need the audience first. And that's why that second layer in the funnel is about the interest. And that's why you have to have your emails going. It's the emails that build the audience. People think that, oh, it's followers. It's not followers. Followers is a vanity metric. You could have thousands of followers and nobody ever buy anything, right? You could be, one of my clients, she was a nurse, and she was in private practice as a mental health nurse practitioner. And anyway, she was on TikTok and she was doing all this stuff on TikTok and she was doing all those videos and blah, blah, blah. And some of her videos went viral and she had so many views and so many followers and all of the things, but none of them ever converted into a client. She doesn't do TikTok now. See what I'm saying? Like, don't get caught up with the vanity metrics. It's not about following each other and setting up follow trains and stuff like that. That's not going to land you a client. It's a vanity metric by people who don't know what they're doing. You know now what you're doing. You could have 0 followers on your Facebook business page and still get clients from your Facebook business page. You could have 0 followers on your Instagram and still get clients from your Instagram. It's got nothing to do with followers. An audience is people who find you and then they're like, oh, I'm going to come back to this. This was really helpful. No different to if you find a podcast, if you find a band that you like, if you go to Mecca and you find a new Bobbi Brown foundation that you really like. Do you know what I mean? You're going to keep going back to Mecca and see what else they've got. Or you're going to keep going back to Bobbi Brown and seeing what else they've got. And you're going to get the Bobbi Brown newsletter and you're going to get the sign-up discount and you're going to get do you know what I mean? And when you get those emails, you're going to be happy to get them because, oh, I wonder what is next with the Bobbi Brown foundation range. You're going to be happy to get them. You're not going to be like, oh gosh, I'm getting spammed by Bobbi Brown foundation. Like, that's not going to happen. I think we get in our own heads about things sometimes. And that happens because you're learning about business. You haven't learnt it yet. You're in the process of raising your own awareness around business. And so this is what identity is all about. It's you trying to run your business as either a woman or as this is not going to sound the right way, but I'm sure you'll know what I mean. You're trying to run it like as a real life person or as as a therapist maybe. Like, you're in that frame of mind. You're not thinking about it from a business perspective. And you get to email people in a way that's helpful and fun and friendly and light and useful, that feels pleasing for them to get your emails, right? If you're concerned about all of this, it's probably because you're just not experienced with it, which is absolutely normal. Like, you got to start somewhere, right? And it's probably coming from just not knowing what to include in the emails or how to write them. So you're imagining, oh gosh, I'm going to have to keep telling them about my fees, and I'm going to have to keep telling them about book an appointment, and that just feels really horrible. Well, you don't have to do that. I mean, what if you got to write emails that people love to open? There's a good journal prompt. What if I got to write emails that built my audience that people really love to open? People really love to receive from me. And get this, the average email open rate for mental health practitioners in Australia is only 22%. So for every 100 emails that you send out, roughly 22 people will ever open them, right? So you want to be building email. That's very important. And you're already doing that if you've started to work with clients. You've got their details, and hopefully you've got in your consent form that's fine to communicate via email and all those kinds of things. You can do that, not a problem. And they can opt out. They know that. And you've got your unsubscribe down the bottom there. So, it's you can't just out of desperation say, I'm going to go and do this thing and then come back later on and go, oh, I tried to do this thing and nobody, bought it. Nobody joined me. Nobody attended. Nobody did this. Nobody did that. The reason why is because you just don't have an audience yet. So you need to take a step back and focus on that awareness. Focus more on the awareness. Now, speaking of that, I did put on my Facebook business page, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, a post about getting clients off social media. And that has a freebie attached, actually. That's you can go and get that. It will walk you through how I get clients from my social media. But in that post, I was talking about, I think I shared, the cover of that post was a little carousel. But the first slide on the carousel had a couple of screenshots of recent badges. Well, today I got another bunch of badges from Facebook. And I thought it was so interesting. So the reason that I got the badges, there were 3. I got a badge for posting original content. So that tells you, don't go and share the Daily OMS posts. Don't go and share things by Carl Rogers or Viktor Frankl or, Mel Robbins. Like, Facebook doesn't care. And Facebook and you need to be friends if it's going to help you with your business with that first level of building awareness, right? So don't be sharing other people's stuff, right? Also, Facebook's not a huge fan of you sharing stuff from your Instagram. It likes original content. So even though it's original, Facebook is like, well, she posted it on Instagram first and then they've lobbed it over the fence to us over here. So it's kind of like, yes, it's original, but we're getting it second. It'd be better for us if we got it first. So you can use the same content, but maybe present it a little bit differently. Okay. So original content is being recognized. Content that gets people talking. So engagement, conversations, right? Conversations. Facebook is very much about social networking, connecting, communicating, back and forth conversations, all that kind of stuff. So there was that. And then the other badge that I got was because of recognizing new followers. So when people, follow your Facebook page. So I've only just started doing this. I think I've done it twice. But just like once a week, I'll just do a little post to welcome the new followers. And I think once it was like 1 follower and then last time it was 2. So I'm not even talking big numbers here, right? I'm not even talking big numbers. So that's something that you could do as well. But they're the 3 things that Facebook wants to see. And get this, as a result of me doing those things consistently, I got a whole bunch of new reach. And this reach, when I calculated it and did all of the sums, was the equivalent of a $600 ad spend. And that's for 1 week, because the badges last for 7 days and they disappear. So that's just for 1 week. So because I had original content, because I was talking with people, and because I was, saying g'day to the new people and, just saying welcome, thanks for following me and stuff like that, because I did those 3 things, I got $600 worth of free advertising, essentially, from Facebook. And guess what happened as a result of that? My reach went up by a lot. I haven't calculated exactly the reach. I will though, because the badges came this morning. So I will know a week from now, and then I can do this was the week before, this was the week that I got the badges, and we can see what the increase was like. But because I had original content, I've screenshotted this as well. so you can have a look. But because I posted original content, it said 2,788% more reach. Right? I know. So, and I'm not posting generic stuff. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can't just post generic stuff, and you can't get ChatGPT to go writing your posts with the massive M dashes and all the rocket emojis and stuff like that. Like, Facebook, that's clearly not original. So you don't get brownie points for that. So what's the point of you going into Canva and making a graphic or an image and spending time in ChatGPT, going back and forth until you're satisfied with the post, and then putting it up if Facebook are not interested? You've just wasted, an hour of work? For what? And the other thing too is that, barely any of your followers see your stuff. So we want to make sure that you're constantly growing. So when I did those things over this past 7 days, for example, and then the 7 days before that, and the 7 days before that, I'm just thinking about what I've been doing recently. What's happened is my top of funnel, that very first layer of awareness and attention and attraction, is working. So those people that found me, all those new people who I was not on their radar, I suddenly showed up in their feed. Some of those people would have come over to my page and maybe liked something or read something or hit follow or keep coming back, right? And they're going to filter down. And some will get one of the freebies. And from there, some of those people will go and make sure I know what I'm doing and, blah, blah, blah. Or, there's the desire factor. And then some of those people will be like, okay, she's the one. Yes, this is who I want to work with when I'm ready, when I have started my private practice, when I'm ready to start my private practice, when I don't know, have the time, whenever. So I'm on their radar. And so that all takes time. And so the things that you post today lead to a client, down the track. They're working their way through your little funnel. So don't think for a minute that it's not working. Don't think for a minute that it's not working. It takes time. You can speed it up with paid ads on Google. You can speed it up with paid social media ads. Yes. You don't have to do that. But you just need to be consistent and relevant and relatable and build the trust, build the rapport, build the connection. And have a look in your niche at what other people are doing as well. Because so many people are getting AI to write their content. And so I was helping somebody with her social media during the week last week. And I said to her, let's go and have a look over here. I won't say the niche because anyway. We went and had a look together at a bunch of different Facebook business pages of similar type focused practices, right? These practices were in the same niche, working with the same people, Guess what? All the content starts to blur into each other because it's all written by the same person, i.e. ChatGPT. So I said to her, you can see what's going on here. And she said, I do, I get it now. And I've never really looked at my competition's Facebook business pages before, but yeah, I get it. And I know what I need to do. I need to personalize it more. I need to weave in story more. I need to, she knew then what she needed. She needed to humanize it. Anyway, so we wrote her a new marketing plan, and humanizing it is a big part of that. And you watch, this is what's going to lead to her getting outcomes in terms of inquiries and bookings down the track, because it's what's going to make us stand out and be memorable compared to the others. Because ChatGPT doesn't have your wisdom, doesn't have your experience, doesn't have compassion or empathy or positive regard or this, that, or the other, because he doesn't have emotion. He's ones and zeros, he's binary, he's software. He never has emotion. He understands how it's defined, but he will never be able to articulate it the way you can. And goodness me, you're a therapist. You can articulate it better than anybody else on the planet. Why are you giving it to average intelligence AI to do for you? You know, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you so that you didn't feel like it wasn't working. The fact that there's no clients just yet is just a sign that you've got people that are coming down, they're trickling down the funnel, right? That's all. You might want to start getting more people trickling down the funnel, and that's going to be by doing more of the stuff around awareness and attention. Start asking yourself, what could I be doing that could, you know, help my business get in front of people that haven't heard of me before? And I already gave you a few strategies there around Facebook, you know, and you can use this for Instagram as well. Original stuff, engaging, going, you know, speaking to people, having conversations with people, those kinds of things. And just, yeah, like saying hello. It's social media to be social. It's not called spammy media. And it's not called marketing media. It's called social media. You get rewarded when you be social. Okay? So, yeah. Anyway, everybody's approach to top of funnel is going to look different for the type of profession that you're in and your niche and your energy and your interests and your passions and, you know, whether you've got other stuff going on and all those, your skills, like, you know, if you really love making stuff in Canva, you know, that's very different to somebody who's like, I'm dying over here, like, just give me a template that I can use. You know, everybody's plan is going to look a little bit different. But the takeaway is two things. Number one, just because you've got the website and you know the website's good, but you haven't got the flow of inquiries yet, doesn't mean it's not working. Number one, it just means it started to work and people are on their way through. It also means there's opportunities for you to do more now in terms of that top level. And the other thing is, hopefully now you understand about the pathway that your clients go on. You can call it a funnel. That's, you know, if you want to go in other groups, they'll call it a funnel. I think for us, though, it's probably just easier. Feels a little bit more, I guess, feminine and a little bit more therapist-y to refer to it as a journey with maybe a few little checkpoints along the way. You might imagine 4 checkpoints. You might imagine a pathway going up to the door of your counselling practice, and maybe there's, you know, 3 little checkpoints along the way, and your door is the 4th one. You know what I mean? You've got to give people directions, and you've got to get right out the front and, you know, hand out the flyers, so to speak, or twirl the sign. You've got to do something to get their attention to come inside. So anyway, I hope that this was super helpful. Now, as I said, if you're in momentum, we can absolutely cover this in the mastermind on Thursday. It'll be recorded, so if you can't come, don't stress. I'll see if I can also put together some resources for you that might be really helpful as well, to sort of go along with that. And yeah, if you're not in practice momentum, then you've certainly got enough from this today to have a better understanding of how it all works. And yeah, best of luck with it all. And yeah, if you need anything or if there's anything that I can help with, of course, let me know. Okay, I want you to have a successful private practice, and you get to have a successful private practice. The fact that it feels like it's not working doesn't mean it's not. Manifestation takes time, right? It's a little bit of a process. All right, my lovelies, have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.